Now, this show might be much too cute for me to bear, but so far I am definitely enjoying it. Today we are discussing Stardust Telepath Episode 1, and this show was on my radar because I wasn't super impressed or intrigued by the synopsis, but I thought, okay, we have an introvert, someone really having problems with communication and just dealing with human beings. I can relate to an extent. And in this first episode, we get a lot of positive notes and content that I think really sets the show up to be a wholesome and enjoyable watch, similar to Bocchi the Rock, I feel like, in some ways at least. And the duality of the extreme introvert and outrovert with these two characters we are introduced to in this first episode, I think can be a really big draw for this show and can keep it really interesting and fun and wholesome and cute and adorable throughout the season, depending on how much it is utilized. Now, to start off with this episode, we meet Umika, who is this extremely introverted girl. She has extreme self-confidence issues talking to people, being isolated, being lonely, having extreme fear of people, I would say, because every time in the past she has tried to open up to people or tried to make friends, she's been laughed at, ridiculed, made fun of, so that has even further increased her isolation and just fear of connection and talking to people. She mentions a lot in episode 1 about how her words seem to not be able to reach people, that she isn't able to make any sort of connection, isn't able to make any friends or anything, because whatever she says, it just doesn't reach them, figuratively or literally. I suppose also often literally, as she is so afraid of interacting with other people, or Earthlings in this case, that she is unable to speak most of the time. Now, for anyone that is an introvert, or especially that was really introverted in their school days, will have a lot of familiar feelings when they watch this episode and this show. For me, myself, I was always introverted, and I still am. I just mimic extroverts much better now as an adult, and I don't have problems with humans. I just tolerate them. But yeah, back in my school days, yeah, I was an introvert. Not nearly to this degree, but I kept to myself and didn't really bother making friends or getting to know people. I was just uninterested. In Umika's case, she very much wants to make friends, but she's just unable. And that is when we get introduced to this extremely extroverted girl who claims she is an alien. Now, I'm not sure if she is or not. I suppose she is, based on how she got there and what we learn at the end of episode 1. But it doesn't really matter if she is an alien or not in terms of helping Umika, because as long as she gets Umika to open up and getting to know her and become close with her, it doesn't really matter in the end if she is an alien or not. But Umika has had this perception for a long time now that she can't get to know Earthlings or other human beings. She feels like they are all unreachable, like they will all just make fun of her and not really want to be around her or be friends with her, so she has felt like she has no choice but to only basically run away from Earth, go to other planets to find people that understand her, or find beings that understand her, and make connections that way, needing to actually find alien races to make friends. Now, I suppose that is a familiar feeling to people that have been in the same position or have had the same personality traits, especially during their school days or younger days. But still, it is taken to the extreme here, I would say, as most people don't struggle this badly with human interaction. Now, that does, of course, live into the premise of the show. I do really like how they are visually portraying the things that Umika is struggling with, like how much difficulty she has just simply trying to introduce herself when she starts high school, just barely getting the words out. And when she tries to talk to someone, she basically mimics the word, but no sound comes out. And all the expressions and the over-the-top, really pronounced expressions that she makes and how it is animated really lends itself to really hitting home with it, and how much she is struggling and wanting to do things, but not being able to do things, and all of these things around that. And that also helps to make it a very wholesome and cute show, an adorable show, even though we are dealing with a subject that for many, at least ones that have had problems with it themselves in the past, can find more on the emotional or difficult side, I assume. Not that it is impacting me in that way, but I can see why it might for some. Now, I can understand why some people might not find this show too enticing, because it isn't the show for everyone. I would say that same as Bocchi the Rock, I think that you can get into this show even though you might not be too interested in the premise, and you might not find the main character or the surrounding cast that interesting, but how they are animating it, how they are showcasing the story, and just how they are dealing with things can make it a very just adorable slice of life, wholesome anime as much as anything else. Now, I have heard that this anime gets more dramatic and meaningful, let's say deep, impactful at times. We'll have to see how and if and when that happens. But for now, I think it can be a very good, just laid-back show where you don't have to really take in all the potential emotional aspects of the show or the harder, deeper parts of the show if you are not so inclined. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I think one of the most interesting aspects of this show will be the duality, the interplay between the extreme introvert and the extreme outrovert, with Umika and then the alien girl here, which I forget the name of. Like, these two personalities clash a lot in episode 1, and they will continue to clash, I'm sure, in the future episodes for the rest of the season. I think that just seeing these two extremely different people, characters, beings interact with each other over the course of the season will be a joy and fun and entertaining and interesting and intriguing, and something you can really enjoy and get a lot out of as well. Just seeing how they learn to understand each other, talk to each other, share a common goal, a common dream, as they establish in this episode, and how they end up maybe complementing each other and changing each other, filling out for things they may lack in one another, and at the end both becoming better human beings, especially Umika, hopefully, maybe, eventually, learning some of these extroverted qualities, or at least being able to be normal to an extent. That whole journey, I think, can be a very nice thing to see throughout Season 1. Hopefully it doesn't get too dramatic, because I think that might make me fall off it a bit. But if it keeps the current vibe, I think it is going to be a very cute, good watch throughout the season. At the end of the episode as well, we do see a third girl appear outside the lighthouse where this alien girl has her base. It looks from the OP that we will get 4 girls introduced in Season 1, at least that's all we see so far. So I assume that these 4 girls will all complement each other, or clash with each other in different ways, which is probably going to be intriguing enough. Just to end off here with this episode review, I have to say that, again, the subject of dealing with extreme self-doubt and lack of self-confidence and fear of interaction with other humans and simply being so scared stiff and being so unsure of yourself and of everything you are that you feel so unable to even interact with any other human being because you feel like they are outside your reach, like you aren't the same species as them, can be, really emotional for some people. And I know some people that have had insane problems just interacting with humans, and I do enjoy seeing a story where you can see someone that is struggling this much start to overcome that, and seeing that arc of growing and accepting herself for who she is and becoming a human that can actually be a normal human being to an extent. And I assume that is where this story is going, and I think it can be really meaningful and nice to see that, and really bring you a lot of joy as well as you watch this person start to improve themselves and find their own place in the universe, so to speak. With that being said, though, what do you think of episode 1? Like it, hate it, anything else, leave us in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, want to see more of this show in future videos as well, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff to support my channel. And if you want to watch another episode 1 review of a new fall 2023 season show, then click on this video right here.